So I am Tracy Buckley. I work for River City Capital, which is an affiliate of Community Lift. We are what is considered a CDFI, which is a Community Development Financial Institution. In your packet on the last page, there is a network of us, which is 6 of us here in the city, that go anywhere from lending at $1,500 to probably $7 million. So the website is on there, cdfimemphis.org. What is different about me is that I am homegrown, which means I am a target-specific lender. I'm only going to cover Binghamton, South Memphis, and Frazier. We chose those neighborhoods because at one time they were powerhouses of the city, and over time disinvestment set in and people left the neighborhoods, but there were still a lot of roofs and businesses there that needed a lot of help. Some of our projects is, I guess if you're familiar with Soulsville, you would know about the Memphis Slim Collaboratory. It's the childhood home of blues pianist Memphis Slim. The house became very disinvested. They were going to tear it down. We were able to raise foundation dollars along with some of other organizations, and we have turned it into a musician studio, one of its only kind in South Memphis, where you can go if you're just a regular person and want to record a track and do some resources and have a launch party. You're able to utilize that space as a neighborhood member or anywhere across the city. So we started lending in 2013, and we became fully operational as a CDFI this year. Over $200,000 in loans dispersed to date. So when you look at a $5,000 loan here, $10,000, $20,000, it really adds up as a huge impact in those neighborhoods. So what we finance is going to be working capital, startup costs, business acquisition, inventory, FF&E, which is machinery, equipment, furniture, and fixtures. And we're also set up as a real estate holding business. So if you needed to purchase real estate, we would be able to do a real estate loan for you. There's a lot of questions about, well, who is eligible, and I don't live in that neighborhood, how can I take advantage of the program? So for us, even if you're not directly in those neighborhoods, maybe you have an organization or a business that utilizes those neighborhoods. A good example would be maybe you have a web app and a lot of residents from South Memphis are using it because it's a technical app. Or maybe you have a transportation service and you pick up a lot of residents in Frazier. That would still qualify you because you are still doing a lot of your business in our neighborhoods. Also, it's existing business owners and startups. We like to look at startups because without the help of a CDFI, a lot of times banks, you don't fit into their box because you're a startup, you don't have historical cash flow. Maybe your projections aren't exactly where they need to be and you need a little bit of technical assistance. Also, community development corporations as well as charter schools, we would go the full footprint of Memphis. So if you're a CDC or you are a small charter school and you're in East Memphis or you're in Whitehaven, we would still look at that because you are offering a community benefit, and that is the only way that we're going to lend is if it is a job creation component or it produces a community benefit. We look at for-profit and nonprofit developers. Our microloans, I manage the redevelopment loan fund. I've been okay with going down to something as small as $1,000. For just a startup that really needs that kind of ramp up their operation kind of loan. We go all the way up to $100,000 fully amortized. It could be micro lending, working capital, bridge loans, real estate bridge loans. A lot of the bridge loans, it can kind of work if you are, a good example would be a contractor. Maybe you've got a really large contract coming in from the city and you have to do the work before they would reimburse you. So we would leverage that contract that you have with the city as guaranteed income, and we would offer you some bridge financing, or we would offer you like some working capital to help you get your equipment, or maybe you need to pay your workers. So it's not just, I'm kind of new here, I don't have a lot of collateral, I don't have a lot of other things, but we look at the whole picture, as a lot of the other CDFIs do as well. But the most important thing is what we ask is, would you lend to yourself? How will the loan be paid back? What will secure the loan? What is the risk? Will the business succeed? Are you a good borrower? And what is your contribution? Cash is king. Skin in the game is important. And if you are willing to put those two in, then you have a good opportunity of a lender saying, you know what, I'm willing to take a chance on you. But if you go to a lender or a bank and you're like, you know what, I just want to finance XYZ, I don't want to put anything in, I don't want to use my personal assets, and this is a startup, it's going to be really, really hard because unsecured lending is almost non-existent now. If it does exist, they are going to find some kind of way to leverage their risk, and it's probably going to be in the form of a really high interest rate. So there are a lot of things to consider when you talk about lending, but the bottom is, are you a good lender? Are you going to be able to pay your loan back? The condition is measures the timing and expertise, character, capacity, capital, and collateral. So the good thing with the CDFI is they oftentimes look inside and outside of a box. It's not going to be just straight to the point, your credit is not good, we can't lend to you. They're going to look at the capital, they're going to look at the character, and a lot of times with CDFIs, character is so very important, as well as the capital and the collateral. Conditions are very good too, because if you want to open a car wash, a mobile detail service, and it's the middle of winter, and we don't really get a lot of summer, that might be a question, is why do you want to do mobile detailing in the middle of winter? What about doing, something else? Is something seasonal is, I guess, more around it. If you have a seasonal business and you have a way to earn income all year round would be the conditions. But with collateral, you could take leveraged contracts, you could have real estate as collateral, you could use your personal credit, you could have a guarantor. There are a lot of different ways outside of just having good credit that you could close a loan with a CDFI. The minimum application requirements would, of course, be a loan application, the business plan with financial projections, and this is where I'll piggyback with Rory. The TSBDC is a great resource. The RBC, they have a lot of counselors over there. They're willing to jump right in and help you with the business plan. They are not scared to answer questions, and they're not scared to be very honest and tell you the truth about your business. So with the business plan, if you've been in business for a really long time, you might not need 5 years of projections. Maybe you just need 2. Or maybe you're entering into new territory. Maybe you've always sold bread, but now you're selling bread and seafood and roller skates. Well, that's all one business, and you want to know what your projections are going to look like in the next couple of years. So it's good to do 5. But if you're doing the same thing day in and day out, it's always just good to have 2 years. But you want to know what your competitors are. You want to do that SWOT analysis. So for a business plan, I would highly encourage you guys to go over to the TSBDC and check out their resources. And also, we all kind of work together. We all have partnered, whether it's MORE, whether it's TSBDC, whether it's Memphis Area Minority Contractors, whether it's SCORE. We all kind of work together. So if you have questions, you can always reach out to one of us and say, hey, you know what? I have a question about this business plan. And if I can't answer you, I'm going to refer you to Sean Bullock, or I'm going to refer you to Rory. But the personal financial statement, it kind of gives the lender a snapshot of what your personal financial history is, personal tax returns. I don't really use the CPA prepared financial because a lot of small businesses don't have it. So just a simple 1040 with a Schedule C is what I most commonly see with small businesses. Businesses that have been around for a while, they usually have a corporate, business return and personal. So that's really good too, because it just depends on how you're paying yourself. If you're paying yourself with a 1099 or are you paying yourself W-2, how are you taking your income from the business? Interim business financials is always good because once again, it gives you a snapshot to provide the lender as what you've done so far this year with your business. Schedule of business debt, which a lot of times, if you're not taking business debt in the name of that business, it's all going to be on your personal credit. Some of our partnerships, of course we have SBDC. SCORE is really good for you guys to utilize because they offer a free partnership. They will walk with you for the life of your loan, and it's free. They don't charge a service. There are a lot of retired executives from International Paper. You have some from FedEx. They just want to see you be successful with your business. Of course, MORE, the Chamber. Another one to mention is EDGE. So if you have followed Economic Development Growth Engine, you would know that they recently launched a Community Builder pilot program. This is very similar to the larger pilots, but now the small guys can take advantage of it to go into neighborhoods that are new market tax credit areas and get a payment in lieu of tax to relocate their business there or to open an existing business there. Also, they have what is called Inner City Economic Development, which is the ICE loan. It's very similar to the Downtown Memphis Commission's facade improvement, except this loan pays a 2-to-1, where the DMC pays a 1-to-1. So if you as a business owner have $4, Edge is going to have $8 for a total investment of $12. Their program goes up to $25,000. So if you put in $12,500, they will match you with $25,000, and that will be covered for facade improvements, whether it's awnings, signage, tenant improvements. It could be permanently affixed things to the pavement. There is a lot of ways to take advantage, but it is free money. It is 33% forgiven every year. So it starts out, as long as you are in that space for 3 years or more, it is forgiven. We worked really closely with them in the pilot phase of it. Out of 21 loans, I helped facilitate probably about 85% of those. And it was very important, and we're not very far from Broad Avenue, so there are some businesses on Broad that took advantage. One is Bounty on Broad. It's right there on the corner. It's the old Hanover space. You have the Memphis Guitar Spot, you have Prop Seller, and you have quite a few businesses that have taken advantage of it in South Memphis. The project was really successful. It is now citywide. So I would encourage you to go to Economic Development Growth Engine, look at the application. If you are a small business owner that is already in a space or is moving to a space and you need some help with facade improvements, I would definitely take advantage. It is not a reimbursement program. It is a match. So if you are putting in the money, that's what you would use for your match. It won't be reimbursed to you, but that helps you do a small dollar, big impact. If you're in our neighborhoods, something that we offer is I would be willing to lend that small business owner their matching funds. So maybe you've only put $3,000 in, but you know you need about $27,000, $28,000 worth of work. So I would be willing as a small business lender to lend you the $9,000 gap to help you get to the $12,500 so that you could get the bigger impact to make the overall improvement. Clustering businesses is very important when you talk about redevelopment as a small business owner, because if you see more clustered businesses that have done facade improvements or just are aesthetically pleasing, you would be more willing to shop and spend money in that area because you would see redevelopment taking place. Also, if you relocate to our neighborhoods as a small business lender, for us, we have incentives with MLG&W. So we have what is called the Asset Allocation Program, and it's a partnership with MLG&W to where if you were to move your business there and you needed services from the meter to the street, not including water, MLG&W would give you a 50% allocation on what the total cost is because you are one of River City Community Lift's neighborhoods. Also, moving to a new business, if you had, let's just say your new connection fee for services is $1,000. We really don't have that money out of pocket. Because you're in our neighborhood, we would supply you a short-term loan so that you could pay your deposit for your new space. So we partner with a lot of different organizations, and I would encourage you, like I said, if you have any questions, to just reach out to me or reach out to anybody on the CDFI network if you're not in our neighborhood. But some best practices for managing a successful small business. The first one is review all expenses, even the little ones. So as you guys are starting to get out and get your feet wet, or maybe you're already a business, those expenses, you can take a look and you can cut costs. If it doesn't have a return on investment, you need to really take a look at it and consider cutting that cost. That kind of builds into find your cheaper way. There are a lot of ways that you can find cheaper ways of doing things, whether it is delivering things yourself, whether it is not hiring that employee right away, and then it goes back to reviewing everything that comes in that is not a return on investment. Buying bulk, we all know that ordering online sometimes is cheaper, as well as buying wholesale, whether it's through Sam's or whether it's Costco. It's a larger place that you can buy big items for a cheaper price. And then do some old school marketing. That to me is very important. Handwritten letters go a long way. If you're a small business and people come and they shop with you, whether it's online or they shop in your store, send them a thank you letter, but do it handwritten. That really goes a long way. I mean, if you're mass producing things, you don't have time an email is just, hey, thanks for buying. But if you are small and you're growing and you want to gain that momentum, you know, people, the word of mouth is everything. People tell people. And if I got a thank you letter from a small business, which I've gotten a couple, I went and spent my money with them the next time before I did something else. I'm like, you know what, they really cared about me. They cared about my money, and they wanted to make that sale, and I shop local, so that's really important for me. Know your customer. And I guess I don't even have to tell you any more about that. Know your customer. If you know what they like, then you're going to be successful in your business because you're going to know how to cater to each individual person that comes in. Low-cost advertising. Once again, Rory said it. Get your business online. It is free. It's with Google. It's amazing. If you're on Facebook, do some Facebook banner ads. You can do, I think it's Google AdWords. There's a lot of ways to do some stuff online, but Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, those are all very low cost, and a lot of people, if not everybody, has some sort of social media. Then save on shipping is the last one. And with save on shipping, for me, it was just, I had to actually do some research because I don't ship a lot of product, but the more I've been spending time with Daniel back there, I've learned a lot about how important the save on shipping and doing old school marketing, and he hand delivers all of his orders. That's important. That's important to me. That's important to a lot of people here that he does business with. So if it's cheaper for you to deliver versus sending FedEx, then, I mean, I would at least try it for a while, and then once again, review all your expenses. So after 6 months, when you turn in your profit and loss, and you have that line item that talks about what you've done for advertising and what you've done, what does it actually cost you to get your product out there, those are a couple of line items that you can go back to and you can refer. So the last slide, and I kind of will wrap up, I think my time is close, if not over, crowdfunding. And so this is important. It is an online platform that allows you to get out there and to get investors, to get people excited. You have to learn how to promote your product though. 3 platforms are Kickstarter, Indiegogo, and Rocket Hub. Kickstarter is very well utilized. A lot of celebrities have been on there to raise funding for their projects. They are the biggest online platform, but the one drawback with them is it is an all or nothing campaign. You either raise all your money or you get none of it. They do all have associated fees. Indiegogo is another one where you can have an online platform, and if you don't raise all your money, it's okay. You still get what you've raised, but their fees are a little bit higher. I think if you raise 50% or a portion of what you were set out to do, you pay maybe 5%. If you raise all of it, you pay them 9%. Rocket Hub is good. The good thing with Rocket Hub is they're catered a little bit more towards like art, science, music, but they have a backer from A&E. So they have an A&E project. So if you raise a portion of your money and you have a gap, sometimes A&E will come in, the network will come in and help you with your project. There's another one that's GoFundMe. It's not really a huge online platform. It's more used for maybe you have a company that's going under and you want to save it. You go set a GoFundMe account. A lot of times on the news, I've seen where families have lost a loved one and they don't have enough money to bury them. They'll set a GoFundMe account. It's more, I think, human and social service kind of online platform. And unless you set an all or nothing, there's no minimum goal. You can always pledge your money. And they have very, very small fees because their platform is a little bit different than just straight entrepreneurial platforms. I printed off a resource for Kickstarter and for a lot of the crowdfunding, and this is called Crowdster. And I wasn't very familiar with them, but they offer a free trial. They are like a service that helps you get online to promote your project on crowdfunding platforms, and it's a cloud-based, but they're going to go in there and they're going to help you find followers. They're going to help you promote just everything. I don't know what their service is, but if you're really looking to try to get an online platform first before you go and take out a loan, that might be a good chance that they would be able to help you. So I know I'm kind of over time. Are there any questions? Yes?
Your contact information, is it on this sheet under River City? Is
This here.
you are so wonderful.
Yeah, so this is my name and my contact. My cell number is actually on here because I'm not in the office a lot. One thing I'll leave with you guys is that there's 23 million small businesses in America, and in Memphis, 90% of the businesses that are here are done by small businesses. That is huge. So we want to continue to grow the pie, to build local communities, and job creation is another thing that's really huge here. We want to create jobs. So if you have any questions, give me a shout. Also, the last page on your handout has the CDFI Memphis network. And so there are a lot of us in the network that promote and provide different resources. Thanks.
Thank you.